Welcome to the Social Video Playbook. I am super excited to have you here today, Rob.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. For everybody that's joining us, this is our space for the next 15 minutes. We're going to talk about all things social video. We're getting real insights from leaders in this space that are just telling you straight up what is and is not working with social video. How has it changed in their industry? What are some of the ways that different companies, agencies, tech, brands, creators have been able to utilize and improve upon social video strategies, social video tips and tricks, and what are some of the things that have gone right and some of the things that have gone wrong. So I'm Elizabeth. I'm head of growth at Viral Moment. I am the host of the Social Video Playbook. And here with me today is Rob from Sparks and Honey. Rob, tell us about yourself.
Great. My name is Robb Henzi. I help lead Sparks and Honey. We are a cultural consultancy unit within Omnicom Media Group, and we're founded and built on the idea that understanding changes in culture are critical to making business decisions, and that culture really is the driver of business decisions, brand decisions, and other critical things these days. And the way that we define culture in the simplest terms is culture is everything around us that is not nature, right? It's all of the information and people and things that we interact with on a daily basis that compels our decision making, the things that we like, the things that we purchase, the people that we support, the communities that we participate in. And it's that understanding those large cultural changes that are happening around us at both sort of the micro, individual, and macro, larger day-to-day level is instrumental to successfully engaging with people and being successful in whatever market our clients might be operating in. In this role, we really sit at the intersection of many industries. We work with beauty clients, Fortune 50 CPG companies, large technology firms, nonprofits, and think tanks. So we certainly get an interesting cross-section of various sectors and use our various tools and platforms, including some proprietary platforms that we have that help our clients navigate complexity and place the right bets on their future.
Yeah, you've done some incredible work. You've connected over the past couple of years, and I've watched the stuff that you guys have put out, and it's amazing. And congrats on Sparks and Honey being rolled into Omnicom Group. That's a huge win for Omnicom and for Sparks and Honey to be able to have those big resources to facilitate all that growth for your companies that you work with.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were on our own as a part of Omnicom, and now we folded into OMG, and as you mentioned, have all the amazing resources and support of that large entity to really power the things that we do and help us innovate. Really, we incubate a lot of innovative thinking and ways of working within Sparks of Honey that have those bigger repercussions, and using both our proprietary platforms as well as amazing tools like Viral Moment help us do the work that we do and innovate the way that we do that work.
Yeah, absolutely. So diving in here, big picture, let's just talk about what's the number one shift that you've seen that you just think that brands aren't ready for?
That's a great question. Like I said, what we're all doing is looking for big shifts in culture that impact in the world around our clients. And I think in that context, organizations need to be very mindful of changes in culture that are happening around them, not just things that are happening to like their category or impacting specific consumer segments that they might be focused on. You have to be able to apply that broader cultural lens to the things that are happening to and around your business. That's a journey that we take our clients on, and we think the clients that are staying more narrowly viewed as the traditional category, consumer, channel, or whatever the framework they want to apply to it lens, you're going to be missing things that are very important. And in doing so, miss out on opportunity that might be in front of you today, or in the context of a lot of foresight work that we do, visible if you apply 3 to 5 or even longer lens to the business. I also think that within the work that we do, it points to another change, and that's the way that people work, right? For the role that my team plays, we are cultural strategists looking at these larger changes. It's also about using and maintaining a human-led strategic process. We are a group of people doing very innovative work, but it's also about thinking about, we help a lot of our clients around the future of work, right? And we think about that a lot in terms of how we work, right? maintaining that human-led strategic process and outcome, but also integrating advanced tools, advanced AI tools that do not do the work for us, but augment the work, accelerate our process, do more in less time, help clients make decisions faster, and in doing so, figure out big swings that they can take that they need to start planning for today. So I think both sort of applying a broad cultural lens if I'm a brand or business, but also really thinking about how we become the humans with the superpowers that are capable of navigating the world of today and the world of tomorrow. And that's something that's very central to Sparks and Honey and how we work. So I think that those are really representative of big shifts. We consider ourselves very leading edge and sort of the strategic consultatory space, and figuring out how these amazing resources factor in to tried and true frameworks and approach to the work. I think that's both a sort of shift for our clients, but also a shift for sort of the strategic services space that we sit in.
Yeah, there's two industries that question has to come encompass with the work that you do. And you're so right. Like AI has given us, to your verbiage, superpowers so that we can go and be more effective.
Yeah.
So other things that are happening, how is social video? You've played in this space for a while. You've watched the shift of all of social as it's come about, but how has social video changed the way that brands are making decisions or changing the way that you think that they will in the future?
For us, and obviously I think we were pretty early, I think at least in the viral moment, sort of ecosystem is playing with this incredible tool. I think for us, observing shifts in the social media discourse is an incredibly valuable input that we use to understand and visualize the cultural changes that I mentioned that we spend a lot of time thinking about. We have trends that we track and other ways that we monitor culture within a platform that we've built, but we also find that behavioral research like like the type of behavioral activity that takes place within social video is a really fantastic complement to some of the proprietary cultural intelligence data that we have, which is not around consumer behavior and more about cultural change. But when you can triangulate that with those very important digital behaviors, and frankly, you can also build a third leg of the stool, which we often do, which is we have our cultural intelligence data, social video data, and then self-reported primary research data. We're like evidence junkies, right? We're telling clients to build new businesses, to think very differently. So the more evidence that we have, the more successful we are at helping to guide our clients through those decision-making processes. But again, we use it as a complementary human behavioral source because, against bigger cultural lens and primary research, because what we've found is that you put a survey out there, there's a lot of value that can be derived through primary research, but it's not also unsurprising that sometimes the things that people say about themselves or say about how they approach the world or approach commerce or whatever the topic might not be reflective to how they're behaving out in the world. So doing firsthand self-reported research and then complementing that with a social video analysis kind of gives us both sides of the coin, what people are saying and thinking, and then what they're actually doing out in these spaces. And social video is obviously like an incredible place to go and explore to see like how people are actually showing up in their day-to-day. Not to say that they're lying in a survey, but what we think we're doing might not actually be what we're doing. So we find it as a great sort of layer to the multi-pronged approach that we take to answering big strategic questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And social video is just like one giant focus group, right? So you're tapping into basically what are people telling you, and you're just like, cool, like let's use this information.
Exactly.
Use our the other research that we have that's more methodological, whatever that word is, and then diving into that with social video. And because it is such a large and like vast space, what are some of the biggest challenges that you're seeing with social video right now?
For me and for my team, I think so. Some of the challenges that we might be seeing are age old, right? Which is that and I know that these are things that you all are working on a daily basis, is that there's a lot of junk. There's a lot of not information out there, right? It's not coming from real people or is disingenuous, right? Or misinformation. And so I think that we're living in a great time, right? Where great new platforms are being built. And one of the things those platforms will be able to do is to filter all of that junk out better so that we can actually get to what humans are thinking and feeling and talking about or sharing And so I think that is, and that's something when I say age old, that goes back to classic social listening a decade ago. These are challenges that continue, I think, to stick with us. That's probably the main thing, right? Is just making sure that we're seeing the truth of what's happening,
Yeah.
rather than some of the other layers of gunk that can prevent you from getting that sort of truth lens really clarified.
Yeah, like parsing through all that noise.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of junk, social video, there's a lot of junk in social media in general, but how are you facing these challenges? What's been working or what hasn't worked that you've needed to shift from?
Really, it's about iteration, it's about sourcing, it's about, frankly, not just trusting the machine, whatever that machine is, to give you the answer. As I mentioned in my earlier response around advancing ways of working, we feel an interplay between our people and these platforms. These aren't answer machines. You have to be highly trained and highly skilled. You can be unskilled and go to a platform like Viral Moment and pull something out that could be really interesting, but it's about skill building, and it's about being able to iterate and to recognize tweaks to make to your query that might be pulling in certain conversation threads that maybe don't feel the direction you want to be thinking, or might be pulling in the wrong type of information. So I think that fundamentally about tackling it, it's about making sure that people are trained, either engaging with platforms like Viral Moment and other social video listening platforms with expertise to be able to calibrate and refine the data that you're looking at to make it both truthful and useful.
Yeah, yeah, there's a skill set that comes along with it. You can go in and get the high level metrics, but if you want to go that level deeper, there is
Exactly. Yep.
that skill set that you and your team definitely have.
Yeah.
So if you had unlimited resources around, like literally anything in the world, how would you solve this problem?
To be able to get hyper specific in our ability to get to like fully credible sources, to see how big followings and energy around a particular post are real human responses. I just think it's magical navigation tools to be able to pick up on, are there word combinations that might indicate that things are coming from a single bot source or something like that. I think that if I had a magic wand, it would be like junk filters, quite frankly. Like they cracked it on our email cracked it. It's easy to figure out what a junk email is. It's much less easy to figure out that something that looks like a human and is communicating like a human is maybe not a human. So I think maybe if you could take an email junk folder and plop that capability into a social video listening platform where you can still look at the junk if you're curious, but you can get the real posts, the real emails into that sort of proverbial inbox.
Actually, I love that idea. I was just talking to our CTO about potentially finding a way to identify if something is like not a real video and it's an AI generated video, and making like an AI flag. So maybe it's not junk, maybe the AI generated video is actually applicable. It's like one of those separation levels. So I think there's a lot coming in the future between what we're working on at Viral Moment, but what other people are working on in this space too. There's so many amazing companies out there building really great products.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna shift a little bit away from big picture and pain point. We're gonna go into like successes. So like before we start about success, let's talk about some mistakes. So what's a common mistake that brands make when they're using or interpreting social video that you've seen and probably had to navigate those conversations?
Probably these are certainly not mistakes that we're making, but I think that common mistakes that do happen is focusing on views over engagement and relevance. Like we're in like the culture game, so relevance is like critical for us, right?
Yeah.
Views can be misleading, views can be inflated, views can be fake. Spending less time on those like vanity metrics and focusing on things like comments and shares and sentiment and things like that to really get down. I think like the overarching word again is like getting to what's relevant rather than just what might be big.
Yeah. And I hear this a lot, I think a lot of brands are still like some brands I think are still just starting to tap into social video, and it's been around. So maybe they're a little bit behind. So that's why maybe some of their metrics they're looking at are a little behind. But do you think one of the most important things that brands should actually be measuring and paying attention to when it comes to social video?
Yeah, I think it's like looking at things like watch through rates and not just swipe, like getting from a swipe to an actual watch, looking at shares, looking at things like saves, really trying to distill what the meaningful metrics are for your business. And those might differ by your business or the brand that you're thinking about or the audience you might be thinking about. But getting to what meaningful metrics mean for you and for your goals would probably be the most important things that brand can do, rather than go into the easy metrics views and leave it
Yeah.
at that. Peek a little deeper under the hood, going back to that idea of like really ensuring that your people are power users of whatever platforms they might be using rather than just casual users.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so, like, pulling on that thread a little bit more, what's an underrated insight that leaders in your field should be acting on right now when me providing them with this data and this information? What's like kind of an underrated insight? You're like, actually, this one people don't really pay attention to, and they really should.
I think something, I'll answer this is, I think something that is important, but maybe not seen or focused on very much. It's this idea of getting to root cause.
Mm.
It's like in my world where we are strategists, right? And we have to think about not just the what, but the why, and then what you do based on that why. There are endless frameworks. There's so many tools and data sets that we can access. But with, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, with culture really being the thing shaping how we see the world, the biggest driver of business decisions, et cetera, it's important to understand those bigger forces that are at play, that are taking shape, like around that conversation. Like, why is this discussion taking shape? Why is this particular video catching fire? So I think really getting to root cause and some of the like cultural drivers behind some of the things you might be seeing down at the conversation level would probably be an underrated insight, rather than just what and let's jump in there and figure out how to participate in that conversation. Getting to the why it's happening can give you a lot of potential unlocks and how to be a leader and how to get ahead of those conversations and take those insights and apply it to creating something new that's more ownable, et cetera. So yeah, the answer would
Yeah.
be like really getting to root cause and applying strategic rigor to what you might be seeing out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, understanding the why, you understand your audience more and you're like, okay, like why are they doing this?
Yeah.
Should we happen on this? Is this a value? Is this our audience? Like you start to just unravel and go down this rabbit hole of really going to the psychology of who you're trying to get in front of. So what is a common assumption about social video that you think people just get like completely wrong?
I guess maybe that it's all about brevity. Everybody
Mhm.
loves to bandy about stats, about how short our attention span is. We have the attention span of goldfish. You can't focus on anything for more than 3 seconds. And there is like some merit to that, of course, that's coming from studies. But I do believe that there is still value to longer form video, right? It's not just about the quick hits. It's not just about capturing a 3 second moment. And while attention spans might be shortening for some, it's really about figuring out how you capture that attention. Saying that it has to be short is an implication of perhaps not quality, right? So I'm not saying that short and brief is not important, but there's also a role for longer, more meaningful pieces of content, right? Or videos in general. So I just think not distilling things down to a narrow brevity is everything focus.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I see that all the time. Everyone's all your videos have to be really short. No, they just have to be really good. And if a good video is 3 seconds, it's 3 seconds. And if it's 30 minutes, it's 30 minutes. But once again, I think if you go back to what you said about diving deeper into knowing who your audience is, then creating that content that's going to resonate with them, regardless of the length that content is probably going to be a lot better. And social video is not easy in general. If you were to have one thing, just like one thing this year, so it already exists in 2025 that would make just social video easier for your business, what would that one thing be? Rob's number one wish list item for the year.
You're just going to get dorky answers from me on this, but
That's great. Our key answers are wonderful.
I think that this is all happening, but I think enhanced audience filters, right? Being able to get
Yeah.
into demographics and people. This is obviously hard to do through like social entry points, but I think that as things get more and more advanced, like being able to understand who's behind these things will be really interesting and valuable. It's something that a lot of our clients are asking about is how do you connect that to our segmentation, or how do you connect that to these particular generation we're focused on, or whatever the case may be. So I think that will be really exciting to see take shape over the months and years to come.
Yeah, that's that is a wonderful thing to say. I don't think nerdy at all. I think that's necessary and coming, definitely.
Mm.
Rob, just we have 1 extra minute. I have a bonus question for you. You've been in the space for a long time, you've seen it all evolve. If someone's like coming up and they're like, I want to be Rob, I want to do what Rob does, I want to work with these amazing companies, what's one lesson that you've learned that you'd want to share from navigating this space that you just wish more people understood or wanted to give them?
I think that it can be an incredible jumping off point to really big ideas, not just mining social video for insights to then create social video. And I'll use be short, one example of when we've used social video in a very powerful way. And I can talk about this with a little bit of detail because this is a publicly available report now, is over the last year plus, we've been partnering with the Muhammad Ali Center based in Louisville, Kentucky. It's a nonprofit who's founded by Muhammad Ali and his wife, now run by his widow since his passing. And we helped them develop a very large perspective that was launched in January around compassion in America. We did extensive primary research to come up with a quantitative score to think about compassion. We looked at bigger cultural changes that are happening. But a really critical third part of the stool, going back to my earlier comment around complementing different data sets, is we use social video to get to what we called compassion hotspots, sweet spots, right? These, when we're talking about care worker communities or other types of sort of spiritual leaders, we used what can be seen by less skilled practitioners as just different social video activity happening out there. But when you apply frameworks and strategic rigor to it, you can take those learnings and really get to very powerful ideas around how to make bigger impacts on the world. We use learning some social video to get us to the types of people that can really start a broader cultural discussion around compassion and compassion building and compassion skill building. So I guess I just think the lesson would be, don't undersell the value of what you can learn from social video. It's not just about being able to operate more effectively and more meaningfully in social video spaces. There are bigger cultural insights that social video can inform the development of that can lead to much bigger ideas that can even hit at a bigger societal level.
Yeah, that's wonderful advice. And for those of you that are listening or watching right now, that report is actually on, Rob, you've posted it on your LinkedIn. I've seen it there. I've seen it on the Sparks and Honey LinkedIn as well. It's really good. It's very in-depth. It's got some amazing work that has come out of that. Kudos to you and your team for doing the hard work and finding the real nuggets of golden information across social video. That is all of our time. It's been great chatting with you, Rob. If you guys want to learn more about Rob, follow his work, follow him on LinkedIn. The link will be scrolling across the screen here. And until next time, thank you so much for joining the Social Video Playbook. I really appreciate it. Bye. Sweet. That was amazing, Rob. I'm sorry that took so long. We had so many technical difficulties, but that was really good. Your insights are incredible. I'm so excited to
Hope I gave it
and share this out.
Hope I gave you what you needed.
Yeah, this is great.
All right. Well, keep me posted. I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Have a great
All
rest
right.
of your week and we'll chat soon.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye,
Bye.
Elizabeth.